Hi everyone, my name is Nicole and welcome to my channel. Today is going to be a little chatty. It's been several weeks and I've got a lot of catching up and filling you in with what's going on. So grab yourself your favorite project or whip that you want to work on, a beverage, and sit back and let's just get started because this might be a little bit of a long one. So yesterday was a holiday. I hope everyone had a safe and enjoyable one, whether it was quiet and peaceful or with your friends or your family. The last several weeks have been quite difficult for my family and I. As you can tell by the title of this video, I have had some quite challenging health issues going on my end of the world. I have been in and out of the hospital, doctor's visits, and it has been a challenge. I have some things going on with blood pressure, heart, not sure what it is. I am going through a massive amount of testing. I will give it to the doctors. They're really doing their due diligence on trying to figure out what it is that is going on with me. It hasn't been fun. It has been very scary, to the point where I have had to actually cancel my May vendor shows, which was not what I anticipated, but was definitely in my best interest considering I don't feel comfortable driving. It definitely is not safe for me to drive at this point, and I know my body cannot handle the setup, the tear down, and a 4, 5, 6 hour day sitting and doing all of those things. So while it is not definitely a thing that I wanted to do, it was something that it was definitely needed to be done. I do have a show scheduled mid-June. It is at a local fire department. It is one that is blocks away from my house. One that I have done every event that they have held for the last probably 4 years. It is one that my son does, that his girlfriend does. My husband is typically always there, so I know I have a support team behind me. I usually have friends that go and do it, so I anticipate on trying to do that one. So that's the next one. I want to say it's the second week of June. I'm shooting to do that one at this point, but other than that, everything up to that point, canceled. So hopefully in the next week or two, I have 2 days, 3 days, I lied. I have 3 days straight coming up in the next week where it's 1 or 2 or even 3 tests scheduled multiple days in a row. I'm just taking a couple days off of work and we're just going to do test to try to knock a bunch of stuff out in hopes that we can really buckle down and figure out what's going on and try to get some answers out. I am wearing a heart monitor. That gets turned in next week, and hopefully we can get some results from that to try to figure out what's going on, and try to really pinpoint and get some answers and clarification so that we can get some treatment plan in place and move forward. So in the meantime, over the last few weeks, I have not had the energy to film, but I have had spurts of energy for me as I've rested in between things, that I have kept going with some things on my end. I did start cleaning before all of this happened. But that has since taken, I'm purging and cleaning some stuff out. That has since gone on the wayside. So that is put on a pause. So now part of my room looks like a train wreck. As the energy comes back, we're definitely going to get back into that. And I have some whips that I want to get back into. I have been picking them up here and there. I did actually finish 3 whips over the past few weeks. I finished up a book sleeve. I was really inspired by garden flowers because we had planted some seeds for our garden in the midst of some things. So I saw this whip for a book sleeve, so I did finish this. So this will definitely go in my stash for an upcoming show. And then I did finish 2 bandanas. This is a black sparkle. I love this cotton yarn. So I got 2 of these finished. Bandanas are not huge sellers for me at markets. In fact, I might sell 1 or 2 a year at a market. However, they seem to go on Etsy only if they are unique colors. But they're far and few between. But I found with this one being a black sparkle, I'd be willing to give it a try. So I have 2 of those. So those 2 are going to go up on Etsy. Other than that, I was very inspired one day by a color combination when I was picking up some scraps out of my stash here, to do a different beanie. It was one day I was working on an Etsy order because I was still working on those as they were coming in and going. Surprisingly, I'm still getting granny square beanie orders through Etsy. I think I had about half a dozen over the last 2 weeks, and I have 4 now sitting that came through over the last couple days. But I had some scraps that inspired me, so I whipped this one up. This was not an order, but I was really inspired by the colorway of the variegated yarn there in the middle. So I threw this one together. I'm going to put this one up in the shop too. I don't know, it was just something different, and I was just really inspired by the colors, so we put that one together too. Worked through those scraps and some whips. Outside of those few things that inspired me and my Etsy orders that were just little bits, it was more or less just working on some little things for myself that made me feel happy to keep me going. And recently, for me, my me projects, I've really, really, really been into knitting, and I have been knitting everything socks, and I am here for the knitting of the socks. I'm so here for the socks. So when I wanted to learn how to knit, I actually grabbed a skein of acrylic yarn because I figured, okay, let's do a worsted 4 instead of a fingering weight. I was very intimidated by doing a heel flap and gusset, turning that heel. So I grabbed a really fun color, did just a very short cuff, turned the heel, brought the magic of the gusset together, and I was like, whew, that was magic, loved it. Super easy. And I was like, you know what? That wasn't so bad. If I can do it like that, first try, let's just go to fingering. So I didn't even finish this. And I'm probably just going to frog this back and cake this yarn. And if you're interested, this is an I love this yarn in the color name Candy Stick Stash. That's what this one is, and that's what that looks like worked up. I'm probably just going to frog this, though, and cake that. Acrylic yarn does not last as a sock. I originally was like, okay, well, we'll just make it, and I'll just use it as a slipper sock. But I don't think that I'm going to. I think I'm just going to frog that back and use it for something else. So once I figured out that I can do the magic of the heel flap and gusset that easy on a first try, I was like, okay, I can do it. So I pulled out this yarn, and I had showed this in a haul a little while back. It was from Frog and Fringe Fiber Arts in the colorway Purismo. I had picked up 2 of these. I had 2 50-gram hanks. And I wanted to, at fingering weight, this was the first project I've ever done with fingering weight. I know I could do the cuff and the leg. Again, it was heel flap and gusset. Okay, let's just figure out something that I could do with a short ankle. It was just that turning of the heel and doing a toe. So I found the Rose City Rollers. It was a free pattern on Ravelry, and I'll link it down below for you if you're interested. It's a free download. It's just a matter of the heel and the toe. And it literally is just casting on and straight into the knit stitch. There's no purling in the beginning. The only purling is in the heel. And it really was a quick cast on. And I'm picking hair off of them right now. I have worn these socks so much. They are ready for a wash because I have worn them so much already. And please excuse the grungy look of them because I literally just wore them the other day, but I threw them on sock blockers because I wanted to share them with you. But they're sitting in my office right now because it is my reminder that they need to be washed and reblocked, because I have another pair that I'm going to share with you that is going to be washed and blocked with these. But these are the Rose City Rollers in that colorway that I just showed you from Frog and Fiber Arts. But these are my very first pair of socks that I ever knit, and I am absolutely obsessed with how this colorway turned up. I actually, the way this is hanged, I would have never thought that this is how that this would have worked up. But I am a beginner knitter, so this is definitely a learning process for me. I'm obsessed. And I only used one 50-gram hank to knit this pair of socks, so I have one 50-gram hank left over. My best friend was drooling over these, so I may knit her a pair of these up too. She is the same size shoe as me, so I may knit those up for her as well. The next pair of socks that I knit up came from the May Yarnable box, and hold on one second here. Yeah, this is the May 2026, nope, I'm sorry, Hypnotic yarn. And this is the Plush Sock 8515 Superwash Nylon. It was 437 yards in the color Kite Strings. And this is what it looks like caked up. I'm in love with this colorway this month. So good. This was the first time I have purchased the Hypnotic yarn. I have been following them for quite some time on Instagram, and I finally bit the bullet once I got the sneak peek of this yarn. And it was a mixture of neons, and I am a sucker for anything neon. Now, I have one sock completely done, and the other second sock, I am about probably 10 rounds done from the toe, and then it will be done. The problem is, I'll show you in just a second. I'm going to put this on the blocker for you. Okay. So, there we go. Here is how that one works up. This one here, I did 15 rounds of knit 2, purl 2. And then I did 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 rounds of the cuff, heel flap and gusset. And then I do 30 rounds of the foot, and then I do a rounded toe. The rounded toe, I follow the rounded toe instructions on the Rose City Rollers free pattern. And then Hill Flap and Gusset also comes from the Rose City Rollers. And then I cast on 64 stitches. So cast on 64, knit 2, purl 2, 50. This was Rose City Roller, Hill Flap and Gusset. 30 rounds here, rounded toe, Rose City Rollers. The contrast toe and heel. This was from a mini hank from a row 1 subscription from years ago. I ran out. And here's where I'm at on sock number 2. And that is where I ran out. So I probably have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm 8 rows into the toe and I ran out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I have this much of the toe. Like half of the toe is going to be a different color. However, I have a knit pick stroll that's going to be close enough that it stinks. I'm so bummed because had I thought enough ahead of time, I would have adjusted this toe to bring this color down a little further, but my brain just wasn't in the right place over the last couple weeks, and it's okay, because I'll probably wear these with my clogs anyway, so you're not going to see the toe, but you'll see like the back of the heel and the top when I wear it with my jeans. So I'm not mad, so you're not even going to see the toe, but it's okay. But almost done. This will be done this weekend, and these will be blocked and washed with those other ones, but yes. Love how kite strings worked up. Love, 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 love these. I love this pattern, and I just love how this dyed so, so much. So this was the Hypnotic yarn for May, kite strings, and the teal yarn. I think I kept that one. Yes. Buku Yarns Love Full was the teal from row 1 subscription, but that was from quite a number of years ago. So I also have recently subscribed to a new yarn subscription. This one isn't new to me. Again, I have been following them on Instagram for quite a while. They are a local to me dyer. I say local to me like they're in my backyard. They are definitely not in my backyard, but they are a Pennsylvania dyer. I am in the state of Pennsylvania. They are, I believe, in Northeast PA. I am in Southwestern Pennsylvania. However, I like to support my Pennsylvania wool dyers. They are called the Sheepshire. Sheepshire? Yes, the Sheepshire. They have a theme for 2026 called Swim with the Fishes. Yes, I wanted to make sure I was right. Swim with the Fishes. So they have a picture that they have on their website, and each of those photos matches what they dye their yarn for every month. When I saw May's, I had to have it. Only because I wanted that clownfish colorway so bad. No, that was April's colorway. I'm sorry. The clownfish was April's colorway. But I had to buy, I had to have it. So April's colorway, I got this, well, I get the subscription in the fingering weight. It is a 75-25 merino nylon blend. And this was, how good is this? I'm holding on to this one for Halloween. I'm trying to find the perfect color work to do with this. I'm torn whether I just want to do a basic vanilla sock with this, or if I want to do something else with it. So I'm holding on to this one to see if something jumps out with me and inspires me for this one. Now, if you get the Sheepshire subscription, or if you don't want to see, I just got May's colorway yesterday, so either fast forward or close your eyes. May's colorway was inspired by a pufferfish, and this is the picture that came with the yarn yesterday. And when I see this, I really thought that it was just going to be all tonal browns, and I was ready for something neutral because a lot of things have been a lot of color lately, but I'm okay with color because I'm very all about color. Guys, this screams beach, and this made my heart so happy. And when I saw this, it was so good. It was so good. This is called All Puffed Up, and it was inspired by that puffer fish swimming in the ocean. I am so here for all of this blue and tan. This is so beachy and so fun and reminds me of sand and water and everything ocean, and I absolutely love this so much. It's so good. It's so good. I love this so much. So those are my two. I'm definitely holding on to this one. I am very much contemplating on what to do with this blue one. Part of me wants to do a colorwork sock with an ocean scene to it and do this as like an ocean, do like the cuff in the top part as a solid off-white or a tan as the sand, maybe with like a crab in it, and then do like the rest of it with the heel turn and gusset and the foot and the toe in this, like an ocean scene. I don't know, but I feel like this needs to be something special with color work. So, okay, that was all for the new yarns. I also did treat myself to signing up for the Row 1 subscription. So starting next month, I'll be getting the Row 1, which is 10 gram minis every month. I'm looking to use those for toes and heels or color work, because I was gifted 2 new color work books. Ooh, that one has my needle hanging out. I was gifted the Charlotte Stone Joyful Colorwork book, which I am currently working on a pattern out of. And I was also gifted the Summer Lee Sock Obsession book, which I am obsessed over. These 2 books are so good. Colorwork socks, I feel like, is my new obsession. I casted on last night the Crunching Carrot socks from the Joyful Colorwork socks from Charlotte Stone. I didn't get very far, but I did get the cuff, the stems, and I'm just starting down into the carrot. So hopefully next week I'll have a little bit more of an update for you on this. The ribbing, I did use a 2mm needle, and then she recommends when you do the increase and you start down into here that you bump up your needle size. So I did do that. I am watching my floats because I'm really concerned that I'm not going to get this over my heel and that it's going to be a little tight. So fingers crossed that I can get this over my heel because I don't want to have to redo this. But the color work is so much fun. I'm really enjoying doing color work on these socks. So, and I'm using all Knit Pick Stroll on this. I really like how soft it is, and it's really easy to work with, and it's a really good value too. But I'm really enjoying both of these books. And Charlotte Stone, if you don't follow her on social media, Instagram or TikTok, she posts regularly and she posts some really excellent content. I love watching her stuff. She's just amazing for sock work. I don't know. She's very inspiring for me. Very, very, very inspiring for me. Outside of knitting, you guys, I only have one crochet project to share with you. I'll try to make some room on my desk here. I did finish my beach bag. My beach bag, pull bag that I shared. I'm not sure if it was the last video or the video before. But this was done in the Caron All Day Cotton. I did finish it. I absolutely love it. It is ginormous. Perfect for 2 people. This thing is huge. Soft, wavy. I ended up doing the base in double crochets, and then I just started going around that base with a round of double crochet here, and then I did a double crochet chain 1, 2 rows of that, and then a round of all double crochets, and then 2 rounds of double crochet chain 1, and then a round of double crochet, and then I just repeated that. So it went 2 rounds of double crochet chain 1s, and then a round of double crochets, and I went the whole way up the side until I got to the top. And then we did 1 round of, let me see, what did I do here? It's been a minute since I finished this. 1, 2, 3 rounds of half double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Yes, 3 rounds of half double crochets. And then I split for the handles. And then the handles were 1, 2, 3 half double crochets, and then I did single crochet the whole way around. And then in the inside of here, I also did a single crochet here. That way it held this piece here together a little bit better. I absolutely love this. This bag in total took 3.5 skeins of the Caron All Day Cotton, and this was the color Watermelon. So yeah, I did get this done too. I'm very excited to use this. And other than that, I actually have dug out my sewing machine, and this little bag was the reason why. My sock bag, if you notice, this has my pair of socks from Hypnotic Yarn in it. So this has both socks plus the cake and my notions tin in there, and it's quite at the top full. So I want a little bag like this, but a little bit bigger. So I found this in my fabric stash and I fell in love with it. And then as I was looking at that, I then found these 3 fabrics. And then, of course, as I was digging, I then found these fabrics. The dogs, this, and this. So now I'm determined to make 3 bags. So with that being said, as much as I sit here and say that, you know, things have been hard. I've definitely been trying to keep my plate and my mind preoccupied with different things to keep me going, and it's working. I'm still working. I'm still working full time now. I'm back to work. My plan for the week ahead is to try to get some stuff maybe cleaned up back here. I want to get my treadmill set back up here. I would like to see about finishing up my pair of socks, maybe trying to get a bag done. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, get too ambitious of a goal, but one bag would be nice. I want to try to get a zipper bag. That way I can throw my sock in there for a project bag on the go. I would love to get my treadmill set up. I do have a video that I recorded a couple weeks ago before everything happened. It is a yarn review video of 2 new to me yarns that are comparable, so to speak, with Cozy Cub, Baby Bear, and or Posh Yarns. I have a whole full review, yay or nay, with projects, side-by-side comparisons, and my thoughts about them. I'm going to try to get that edited and up with some plushie examples here in the coming week. So we have that to look forward to. And then I'm not sure what we're going to do after that. This shirt here, I would love to do something with it. I'm not sure what kind of a video yet I would like to do with it yet. It is a very easy raglan shirt. It comes together so fast. It is a very simple one-day project that someone can do if you have a couple hours in your day. I'm trying to decide the best way to go about doing it, and I kind of want to just do a tutorial here on the channel for it. I don't feel that it's something that is worthy of a paid pattern because it's a crochet raglan shirt. One is just like the next. It's just the size of the hook and the amount of yarn that's used that makes it just that much easier. I'm not sure, although, how I want to approach that. I guess that's the right word to do. So I'm going to continue to think about that one and try to put something up with about that, because I think if you do that as a short sleeve or a crop sleeve and take the length down, I really think that would be a good beach cover up for the summer, especially if you do it out of cotton. So I think I'm going to call the video there. It looks like we're at about a half of an hour, so I think I've taken up enough of your time here on the YouTube streets today. So with that being said, thank you so much for joining me. I apologize for the length of time that I have been away. Hopefully, this is the start of getting back into the swing of things again. And if you have stuck with me for this long, let's drop a yarn ball in the chat below. And if you are new here, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. It is free. And I will see you all next time. Bye.